So we were all clearly a little bit shocked. Now that the Las Vegas Raiders are largely eliminated from playoff contention in 2024, it's got me feeling some sort of way. Not a dangerous way. Not a way where I'm going to go jump off the deep end or anything, but it's got me thinking. Maybe we were all wrong. Like, Derek Carr wasn't that bad. Hear me out. So, horrible segue. Basically, me going back and reflecting on the past. A little bit of a tidbit. Me and my wife just got finished watching How I Met Your Mother, the episode where Ted gets left at the altar by Stella. And it's got me feeling some sort of way where it wasn't that bad with Derek Carr. Like, we've dealt with it with Aiden O'Connell. We've dealt with it with Jimmy Garoppolo. And we see what we had. And I know what some of you are thinking. Obviously, how Derek Carr kind of went out wasn't the greatest look. I think that Josh McDaniels had a bigger role than that, than a lot of people think. But at the same time, I really feel like with where the Raiders are specifically right now, even though they may hold the number one overall pick in the 2025 NFL draft, I think there's still plenty of reasons that they should potentially bring back Derek Carr in 2025. Now, let's go right into it. So obviously, Derek Carr, for those of you who have lived under a rock for the past decade, I mean, he had a very successful with a career with the Raiders over the past 10 years. I was a former second-round pick coming up out of Fresno State. And yes, he did join Devontae Adams there for the last couple of years, but had a productive career, like we said. But there was always one thing missing. There was always one thing where it just never really felt like he had a top 10 defense, right? Like, that was the one thing. And we were always making a case for it and talking about it and everything. And, you know, the Raiders made up the playoffs a couple of times with Derek Carr, and they looked like juggernauts during those years. And then, yes, he went to the Saints, where, you know, it just hasn't quite panned out. And let's be real, I believe a lot of people are going to get fired with the Saints. I mean, Dennis Allen's already gone. Darren Rizzi is probably out the door as well. And, I mean, yes, the Saints could hold on to him, but it's all about that contract, right? It's all about that contract. And if they get rid of him after I think it's the third day of the new league year this year, they potentially could just get rid of him and, yes, have $50 million dead on the cap. Now, that's not exactly advantageous for a lot of teams, but let's not forget, the Saints have been in cap hell for what seems like ever at this point, and they also just extended Alvin Kamara, which is great and all that. But if Darren Rizzi, if Dennis Allen, if all of the people that brought in Derek Carr are gone, couldn't that spell the same thing for Derek Carr, where, yes, you could potentially get him on a discounted rate. You could get him on a rate where, you know, obviously the Saints are paying him for most of his salary. Maybe could this be a Russell Wilson type situation where you do maybe just sign him for a veteran's minimum? Maybe he does the team a hometown discount. Who knows? Maybe not. But at the same time, then you potentially draft your quarterback of the future. I don't know. I'm just spitballing here. Like we said, I understand that this might not be this might not be the route we want to go, but it might be the route we have to go, especially because I don't know about this draft class for the quarterbacks. Like, don't get me wrong, I love Shedeur Sanders and I love Cam Ward, but last year's class was better. And B, even if we are sold on one of them, do we want them to start right now? I would argue no. I would argue that we want to see what we have in them first, or at least let them learn behind Derek Carr, somebody that's loved in the organization, somebody that the team wants to follow and lead behind, or at least follow behind. And I think it would make some sense to bring back Derek Carr for a year under a team-friendly deal where you're going to have tons of cap space next year, where let's say he even performs. Let's say you even put a defense around him where the Raiders are contenders. Derek Carr's not going to play forever, but I think it would be I think it would be smart to at least potentially entertain the idea, because again, I do think the Saints are going to be in cap hell and potentially could make a move as to let go of Derek Carr. But overall, let us know what you guys think. Should the Las Vegas Raiders bring back Derek Carr? Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe down below, and we'll see you on the next video.